Show. Sundays, Mondays, we live for the fight. Hey. College game day and Thursday night. Hey. Rivals fall and the banter flies. Hey. We bleed our teams till the day we die.
Come on. I don't care. I'm letting it play.
This is the Straub Bro Sports Show.
There you go, bro. You have told me many times to let the whole thing go. We let the whole thing go. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. We are live. Welcome to the Straub Bro Sports Show. Oh, it's good to be back, baby. All right. Ray is in the building. Appreciate you. Yes, we're alive. Oh, Drew getting in the long hair club. Yes, he is. Let's put these comments up on the board so I don't have to do that anymore. Let's pretend like we know what we're doing. Straub, welcome back to America.
Thank you.
As you went on a 2-week European vacation. So this is a big. How's it going, little bro?
It's good. Listen, one positive about Europe. Public transportation, amazing.
Good
Love
to see
Bob.
you too, Pops.
A negative. I don't think they know about ice water over there. I think I got served lukewarm tap water every single time. So to come back to the airport, ask for water, and get ice full to the brim, immaculate.
Want to talk about first world problems when your biggest complaint over there?
Yes,
is ice.
Put ice in my water.
Put ice in my water. Well, it's good to have you back, bro. It's good to be back. It's good to be back. I've been a little busy myself. Archive, Hugger Falls, Rapids, 3-0. Just we're out here doing a thing. So that's what I've been up to. Obviously, that's why I haven't been doing the show. Do me the biggest favor in the world. If you're on the Straub Bro Sports Show Facebook page, you're good. If you're over on YouTube at some point, either follow the Straub Bro Sports Show Facebook page or the Instagram page. I've got interviews galore being posted. Shout out to Brandon McCann, your co-offensive player of the game from this week's game. His interview is posted. Also, I can't share the Facebook Live, so somebody else, if you can share the Facebook Live, I mean, that would be amazing. But that's how it goes. YouTube is easier. I get you. Pops, if you're there, share it for us. We have so much to talk about. I mean, we have missed what? When was the last time we did a show? 3 weeks? About 3 weeks, almost a month ago. I don't remember who you are anymore. We have a lot to rant about. We're going to rant about the Guardians. We're going to rant about the Cavaliers.
Yes.
Big time. We're going to rant about Arsenal winning a Premier League title. We're going to then save all of that. Well, not save all of it, but then that's all going to combine into probably something that if you follow the show and you watch the show, we have been previewing for over a year now. But the United States men's national team World Cup roster is official. It's been announced. It's out. And I have lots of things to complain about. So we'll just save all that. And it's going to start with how our damn coach decided to tell our players. But we'll get there. Drew, I'm going to do something that I normally do when I get to debut something. And that is just hammer it home and overplay it. as we've told the people, you, mister, have been on a great European vacation. You saw how many soccer games while you were over there? 3 soccer games. You were
unintentional.
2 unintentional. You were a straight hooligan. You were participating in all of the things, but there was a question of what I've been doing, right? So I'm gonna let the people know what I've been doing. Second down, he's got Mari Mitchell out there out wide. Mari's going to spin and go and break it up the field, and Mari Mitchell is gone. We've been having some fun. All right. And I got y'all on the Facebook here too. I appreciate you, Ray. We've been having some fun. The offense is really starting to piece it together, and it's dangerous. And this defense is elite.
I was gonna say, yeah. I was looking. I looked at the left. I looked at all the the rapid scores. 3 straight weeks under 10 points. That's an elite defense right there. You can't. You can't say anything else.
And we still don't have all the pieces in, but
right.
Let's not turn this into a semi-pro show because I'll do it. I don't care. Shout out to the Cobras. Grab that chain again, coach. Sorry. All right, we're done. Let's keep it going. All right, Drew. I'm gonna turn the show over. You lead us where you want to go. I'm just gonna yell about things.
Absolutely. You know what? We're gonna split into 2 segments. We're gonna probably do Cleveland sports, soccer. Let's start with the one that I think we want to talk about the most. And that is, and I'm going to put it up here, the 2026 NBA playoffs. Obviously, we'll touch on a bunch of stuff. The last time we talked about it was still the first round. Now we're about to get into the finals here.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to touch on before we get into the massive monumental elephant in the room?
All right. So that means I'm just going to start all the way on. Oh, well, first of all, I will stay on the East for a second. I will touch on this. Philly, blow it up because that ain't it anymore. Just send Embiid to there was an email written into a sports show that I listened to, and the person said, as a lifelong Philly fan who believed in the process, please just trade Embiid to a contender where he's on a doorstep of a championship and let him go right off in the sunset, and let's be done with this. And I agree with that. And if you're Boston, you may have to blow it up because Jaylen Brown's out here talking about this was the best season of the most fun he's had in an NBA season. Like, being real, basically he wants out. So there's that. So that's on the other side. On the West, I mean, what a series that we've got with Oklahoma City and San Antonio. Obviously, you don't have it updated from last night. Oklahoma City up 3-2. Shout out to Wemby for absolutely telling his 2 goons of a big man to go give some hard fouls. Yes, he did. Yes, he did it. And yes, I don't care. No, I don't care. Like, so that's playoff basketball, baby. Let's go. And you know what? Oklahoma City immediately got their guys out the game. So that's what you should have done when you saw those 2 guys check in. You knew what was about to happen. So I don't even care. Shout out to Wemby. Wemby would have done that in an all-star game. So you think Wemby's not going to do that in game 5 in game 5 of the Western Conference Finals? Get the F out of here. I also, and here, I told you I got a lot of things to talk about. I'm rooting for Wemby and the Spurs because I don't like Oklahoma City. I don't like watching them play basketball. It sucks. Shea might as well play for Brazil because that man dives worse than any soccer player. Don't ever come for my soccer players. Don't ever talk about my soccer players ever again because you got guys in the NBA flopping way worse than that. At least there's some contact when these guys in soccer dive. At least they get stepped on. And if you've never been stepped on with a metal cleat, it hurts. But at least it hurts. Like, Shea's just diving all over the place. It's obnoxious. I don't like the entire team. I'm like any of them. I really don't. And I hate to sound like that. But man, so I'm rooting for the Spurs. That's what I got before we get to save that, because then I'll.
I agree with most of your takes. I completely agree with the Jaylen Brown one because I wonder why he had fun because he wasn't playing with Jason Tatum for most of the season.
Yeah, he was the guy, which is fine. You want to go be the guy? Go be
the guy, right?
He's already won a Eastern Conference Finals MVP, NBA Finals MVP, and a chip. So it's not like he's chasing rings; he's chasing the legacy now.
Yes,
and go ahead.
Absolutely. Like I said, we'll talk about everything on the upper side of the Cavs. I want to put this out here as a transition because I think we kind of touched on what we needed to touch on for the playoffs. Ken, I came to a realization yesterday morning, and that was I've updated my rankings of teams that I do not like. Okay. And so it's a pyramid. Okay. So like right on your base is like a mildly unpleasant. That's like your Dodgers, your Manchester Cities when they were like really, really good and winning all the time. Just a dislike of the amount of winning, and like when the Patriots and the Chiefs were doing all that, mild dislike. Then you have the teams that I hate, right? I just do not like. Pittsburgh, like the Steelers, the Ravens, Arsenal, stuff, you know what I mean? Like teams that are rivals and just get under my skin when we lose to them. Ken, there is now a category above that team, those teams. And that is New York sports teams. Ken, I cannot tell you how frustrating it is. And to go into a playoffs, and that's baseball, basketball. It doesn't happen in football, but it probably would. And
only because the Jets are never good and they don't care as much about the Giants.
And neither do the Browns. The Browns are never good enough either. But it is so infuriating to watch the Guardians make the playoffs or the Cavs make the playoffs and get to a round and go, I have to watch this team play another New York team where they are going to be, the team and the fans are going to be the most obnoxious fans you've ever seen. They're going to complain about every call. They're going to say it's biased against them. And then, because it always happens, especially recently, when they beat us, are the most sore winners I've ever seen in my life. They're flaunting, they're dancing, they're doing it like at fans, like Cleveland fans. And it is 100% sour grapes. It is 100% sour grapes, and it is 100% because I just can't stand that. But it's also them, right? If we were to lose to Toronto, if we were to lose to Detroit, in any other sport, it would be annoying, but whatever, right? The fans, they celebrate with their own thing, and then they move on, and we don't worry about it. It's the pointed just insults that they do, and then believe that, and then they wonder why that we don't like them winning so much, because you act like, sorry for my word, you act like jackasses when you do it. And it's terrible. And so they've officially surpassed any other teams because of how annoying they are.
The reason that I personally will argue against the just sheer hatred that my two favorite football teams get, my Dallas Cowboys and my Notre Dame Fighting Irish, the reason is because those fans of the New York teams, specifically the Yankees and the Knicks, are exactly what you guys claim that we are. Like, yeah, of course we think we're going to win. We're in the playoffs. Of course we think Notre Dame's going to win. We're close to the playoffs. Every team that's close thinks that. These think just that they are everything every year. And then when they're actually good. So I don't disagree with you. I'll give you a bit of love. The Cavs were able to surpass Detroit. I think you owe JB Bickerstaff not necessarily a full apology, but I mean, if it wasn't for some outstanding games by Donovan Mitchell, I mean, and James Harden too, but he coached a good series. His team let him down.
Well, I will say, while I will give them props for playing hard, for battling, for giving this Cavs team a test, I think, and we're going to talk about it because especially it's going to be on the when we're talking about the Knicks series as well. That was more on, I think, the sheer disappointment of this Cavs team throughout the entirety of the playoffs. And we're going to talk about it. You shouldn't have gone 7 with Toronto. That should have been a 6-game series max, more likely 5. So when you get to Detroit and then you see the same things happening where they're not understanding what's not working and they continue to do it and then the other team capitalizes on it, I'm going to blame more of the Cavs than I'm going to give credit to the Pistons. But I will say they did play a very good, very hard series.
Thank you, Ray, for the backhanded compliment. That's only because Ray's now been friends with a Cowboys fan for way too long, a number we're not going to talk about. So he knows how much I hate this team. There's 2 separate conversations, but they do link together because you can look at the Detroit series. I'll take the Toronto series out because other teams struggled in the first round too. Hell, the Knicks kind of struggled with the Hawks, and the Hawks were way worse than Toronto was, in terms of top end talent.
No, yeah.
We talked about it when we did our original poll, when we talked about where we thought the Cavaliers would go. I said conference finals. They were able to beat Detroit because, and we talked about it, it was the same thing with the Toronto series. When you put the rosters together and you did a draft just in that series, against Toronto, you would have taken many more Cavaliers than you would have anyone on that roster. And with the way the guys in Detroit were playing, you were taking Donovan Mitchell. You were taking James Harden. Then, in between there was Cade, obviously. But then after that, with the way these guys in Detroit were playing, you were like, I'm not really sure. So we talked about it. It was going to come down to where was Evan Mobley. Well, Evan Mobley decided to show up for 4 straight games in that Detroit series, and minus the game 6, whatever that was, we'll throw that out. He played well. Jared Allen played great, and this team was able to overcome. Donovan Mitchell had the games. Was it game 5, game 5 or 7? One of the. He had a good game 7, but he had a great game 5 too. First time making it to the conference finals as a top player, which is big when you look at the guys who hadn't. Talking about guys like Dominique. The problem is that series showed you that if we weren't going to shoot lights out, we weren't going to win the game. And I also think, and I hate to do this to Cavaliers fans, Game 1's fourth quarter debacle of blowing the 22-point lead. We'll talk about Kenny Atkinson in a second. That loss reminded me of the I almost called him James Harden. It almost reminded me of the J.R. Smith timeout game. LeBron had the triple-double. We weren't supposed to be in this series with Golden State now that they have Kevin Durant. And we've talked about it as Cavaliers fans, yes, we probably end up losing the series. But if we get game 1, after what we had just done to that team, the doubt sets in, and maybe we make it a better series. Instead, you lose that game. They go, we're good. They're never going to play better than they played that night. Now we've got them. That's exactly what happened to this Cavaliers team. They had the Knicks absolutely on the ropes in game 1. We're just punching their lights out. And then New York said, hold on. Well, Jalen Brunson said, hold on. And I will say this, because what you did say about Knicks fans is 100% correct, but I'm going to flip that for just a second. Because I was going to say, and I said it originally when I talked about it outside of the podcast, there are very few, no, there's only one place that gets a little bit different when the team starts rolling and the crowd gets into it, and the Garden is it. I was literally, this is my bed next to me, I was laying here watching game one, and just bang, and you hit, the call, and then the three, and then that place would just go. It's a different level in New York when the Garden is on fire. And I know everybody has said that, but it's worth saying. But that being said, yeah, once they had them on the ropes and New York punched back and they lost that game, that the team was done. We can give love to James Harden, but man, we talked about it when we got him. Yes, he's a great player. Yes, he's a top player, but man, we know what it is in these deciding games. And yeah, that's exactly what happened the rest of the series. The shooters were non-existent. Harden played like he didn't care. And when Harden plays like he didn't care, and Mitchell's trying to carry the team, but they look at Harden as the leader, there's only so much we can do. My bad, I was talking too much.
No, you're good. I think that analogy was with the J.R. Smith was absolutely right. Right, momentum is so huge in these kind of series that if you technically are the underdogs in a series, you need all the momentum you can get, and if you can't pull that your way, it becomes so much harder to win a series like that, or even be in a series like that.
I did miss Ray's first comment, and that one is correct as well.
Yeah. My thing is that what I've noticed since I've gotten into basketball past 10, 15 years,
I've dragged you into basketball.
Right. Is that there are two kinds of teams usually that make finals runs. There are ones of, this is 8 to 10 guys that no matter who you put out there have perfect chemistry. They can bounce off each other. They can set screens. They can do it. And that helps you through tough times because everyone's got each other's back. And the other side are 2 or 3 guys that go, no, we're not losing this basketball game. There is no way. We have played too well. We are this, and rallies the troops. The issue with this Cavs team is that when you took away, and I'm not saying we shouldn't have made the trade at all. When you take away Darius Garland and plug in James Harden, there was a chemistry disconnect just because a new guy, new system, a guy that loves to.
And with the way he plays the same way as your best player. Yes,
there's going to be a disconnect. And then on the other side, and I'm gonna kind of criticize Donovan Mitchell for this. There is no one on that team, maybe besides Max Strus, that plays hard enough every single game to influence everyone else. Because you saw it multiple times in the Detroit series, in the Toronto series, and a lot of times in that Knicks series. Turnovers weren't getting tracked back on defense. You weren't playing hard on defense anyways. And when you have a team that before used to spread and pass the ball around all the time, that now is basically a do or die on the shooting aspect, you can't fall back on those options of, oh, one guy's not having it, so I can give it to 4 others. You're banking on 2 guys to truly do it. And when they're having bad games and they're not trying hard on defense and you're not rallying the other guys to help out, this is the result you're going to get. You're going to get blown up by a team that, one, has a Jalen Brunson and a Cat that are elite level talents, are going to drag teams, but are so tight-knit as a group that even though they go down 20 in game 1, can go, yeah, we got this. We can easily come back because we can score at will with anyone on the floor. And that's the problem with this Cavs team, and why I'm really concerned, which we're going to get into, why we're keeping a lot of these guys and not making some adjustments, looking at there's no way this is going to work if we run it back.
Multiple things that you said I want to touch on, but all of them good points. I will say, regardless of the makeup of this team, I don't think the Darius Garland Cavaliers get past the Detroit Pistons.
Fair.
You needed to make that change. But put those 3 best players in the pool. I'm going to take Cat out for a second. You have James Harden, you have Donovan Mitchell, and you have Jalen Brunson. Regardless of what you think about talent, only one of those guys I can say for sure, no matter what, is going to give me 1,000% of an effort. And that's Jalen Brunson.
Mm-hmm.
You have 2 on the other side who did it together. And you saw it in that fourth quarter. And that's what you were talking about when you talk about Max Strus. I would put Jared Allen in that category as a guy who does play hard no matter what. But these guys, hold on. But here's the thing. When Jalen Brunson is dicing James Harden alive, the rest of the guys are going, my leader has not given up. My leader went, when we were down 22, said, give me the ball. All right, let's go.
Yeah.
Max Strus is out there by himself going, come on, guys. And Donovan Mitchell's going, yeah, I'm coming. And James Harden was going, whatever. And then the rest of the guys are not going to follow that. So when it worked and Donovan Mitchell was playing out of his mind and he was firing away threes and he was lights out, the rest of the guys were like, yeah, of course we're right here. What do you mean? But that's what happens when they're not that way. And I mean, if we're going to talk, and I know it was a sweep. The only game worth talking about is game 1, in my opinion. And this is my problem. The makeup of this team, okay, I can understand running it back. You got to the Eastern Conference Finals, although in a very weak East that will not be that weak next year, depending on what Boston does. But we still have what Milwaukee might do. Atlanta's trying to get in play for both Jaylen Brown and Giannis. We don't know. Kenny Atkinson is my problem because you're the coach, okay? You're up 22, and then you're up 18, and then you're up 15, and then you're up 10, and then you're up 8. No timeouts called. Or there may have been a timeout.
Sure, there was 0 timeouts.
Right. There were no timeouts called, and here's my problem with that. The first timeout is, all right, everybody take a breath. We're good. Let's get back to running the offense. Let's get back in our place. Let's get back in our sets, and let's go. The second timeout, or at that point, I'm subbing James Harden out of the game. He's gassed.
Yeah.
He's being torched, and he's becoming a liability on defense. And it got to the point where it was so awful on offense that it wasn't offsetting at all.
Yeah.
And that is something you can deal with when you have James Harden on your basketball team. When he's scoring, when he's dishing out assists, I can deal with the fact that you may give up a bucket 1 out of every 3 times down the court. But when it's every time down the court, I got to take a timeout. I got to get you out. And from that point forward, I got to play possession per possession as we get down the stretch with some timeouts, make it a half court game, sub out on defense and offense, and let's go. He did none of that, said, just go, guys, let's make it happen. And the lead ran out on him. And by the time the lead ran out and that game went to overtime, that game was done. That game had no business going to overtime because they weren't winning that game. And obviously they didn't because a minute into overtime, they were getting blown out.
What? And not a lot, but some people are going to be annoyed by this comparison, but I think it's very true. Kenny Atkinson during this playoff run, just by his decisions, and 2, about his comments. Wow, that was very Kevin Stefanski-esque. And what I mean by this is Kevin Stefanski
can't leave the damn Browns out of a show.
He's not even on the Falcons now. He was brought in by the analytical group and was almost analytical to a detriment sometimes with his decision making. Kenny, analytically, we're up 2-1. Kenny, you're down 0-3. Shut up. 2, his comments on, I like to save all my timeouts to the end because I'm sure analytically it's probably better. Kenny, you're getting scored on at will, and you still didn't use all the timeouts at the end of the game. What the hell are you talking about? And then another thing that I noticed on him, the person that we traded for to be the 2 players we traded for to be a defensive boost off the bench Keon Ellis, Dennis Schroeder. Dennis Schroeder saw reduced minutes in the Eastern Conference Final. Keon Ellis didn't even see the court until it was a blowout. What are we doing here where you're going to just feed James Harden to the Wolves defensively when he can't score offensively and have probably one of your best defensive wings just sitting on the bench rotting as the lead slipping away? I didn't get it. I don't know if he was trying to trust a guy that the higher brass traded for and didn't want to seem like he gave up or send a bad message. But you got to do what you got to do to win the game. Feelings be damned. And I think that's the bigger problem here is that I don't know what happened between like last year and even the first half of the season of Kenny Atkinson to like as soon as we traded for James Harden, but there was a switch in coaching mentality. And I don't know if it's because we added another star. I don't know if there was just a difference in the locker room, but that's the thing I'm really concerned about. If there was a philosophy change when we made this trade, and if all the reports are true and we're going to extend James Harden, I don't see that mentality changing anytime soon, which again means we're going to have to go through stuff like this every playoffs.
I'm going to try to get through this. So, first of all, we have to clip. We're down. We're up 2-1 analytically. No, you're down 3-0. Shut up. That was just a great clip. That's a great quote in general. Also, I don't know if any of our viewers or you watch Saturday Night Live, but the guy who does the Tucker Carlson impression, that's what you straight reminded me of when you did the "What are we doing?" That's the goal. What are we doing? That's the goal now. That's the goal now. I'm sorry.
I don't need that. That's great.
Gotta bring it around. Number one. Number two, Kenny Atkinson can go, in my opinion. I don't want him here, but whatever, they're gonna bring him back. Yeah, Donovan likes playing with James, so James is coming back. I guess the thought process would be, and if you were gonna ride with it, I can sell it and I could buy it. I didn't have a full season with these guys. It showed at the end when we didn't have enough. Okay, fine. I do want to bring up one of Ray's quotes, which means I have to unfull screen. Don't ask me why I'm full screened. Here we go. There it is. Maybe. There it is. I will give up Harden for LeBron yesterday. Changed my mind. Here's the thing, and the reason I did want to bring that comment back was because of something you said. Hey, who's the guy leading this team and giving their all no matter what? Listen, you can say all you want about LeBron James. 37, 27, 47, 17. I don't care what age. He's going to give you everything when he steps on the court, especially come playoff time. So this team with LeBron, not James Harden, Donovan Mitchell, Max Strus, LeBron James, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen. That five is playing in the NBA Finals against whoever comes out in the West. I guarantee that.
And I will say, whether it's LeBron, the last comment I want to make about this, whether it's LeBron, Giannis, right?
Mm-hmm.
One thing I've noticed, this is the most publicly vocal and involved I've seen Dan Gilbert since we lost LeBron the first time. And so I'm very curious what's going to happen this offseason because I've never seen Dan Gilbert for 4 games in a row go, Cavs fans, you deserve better. We're going to figure it out. Don't worry about it. That's intriguing to me. So that's what I'm really pointed on this offseason.
I like that. Number one, I have to read his comments through Facebook or the Straub Sports Show Twitter because he has me blocked on my yeah. Dan Gilbert. Listen, it was after LeBron left the letter. I went at him over the letter on Twitter. So Dan, if you'd like to unblock me now that I'm in the sports business, that would be appreciative so I could actually read what you write. But nonetheless, I agree. And the thing about that I like is The reason it reminds you of those LeBron teams, let's be honest, is because when he other than when he was here, this team hasn't been on this close. This team hasn't been on the doorstep of reaching the finals. And when it was, yes, it took a couple years. Dan Gilbert did what it took to get this team over the hump.
Yes.
Now, speaking of LeBron, speaking of Dan Gilbert, reports are Mr. LeBron James is willing to take the league minimum or a reduced contract. Yeah, me block never. Yeah. To play in the league next year. Now, we've already done the homecoming, come home and win a championship. The only thing that's stopping us from getting this possibly twice is the fact that LeBron and Steph Curry really, really want to play together. This is not a secret. This is one of the worst kept secrets ever. You saw it in the Olympics. They want to play on the same team. So that might be the only thing. But if not, come on home, LeBron. Yeah. We'll run with you and James and Donovan and the two big guys, and we'll just roll. Or if we've got if he's going to sign for the league minimum, we don't have to do much. It's got to be like a 1-for-1 thing. But all right,
we'll see what happens. We do have a final. Well, we have one more game of the Western Conference, and we have a finals to play. So, Ken, poll of the pod: do you have the Knicks or a team coming out of the West?
First of all, Reggie Miller is smoking that just whatever pack out here on the broadcast, talking about the Knicks will be favored against whoever comes out in the West. Please, FanDuel.
Yeah, please.
Please, FanDuel. I am begging you. There's $50 right there in that account. We've come down since we won on the Kentucky Derby. But it's right there. I will put it all on whoever comes out of the West, plus more, if you decide to make the Knicks the favorite. No. If it's Oklahoma City, I actually think the Knicks have a better chance because I think Jalen Brunson can do some damage. I think Cat might be – I don't think the Knicks can beat the Spurs. I think the guards will give the guards on the Knicks trouble, and I don't think the Knicks have an answer for Wemby. You think Wemby's putting up numbers now that only Akeem Olajuwon and Shaq and those guys and Wilt have put up? Yeah, he's going to put up NBA 2K player mode on rookie in your guys' 99 type stats if he plays the Knicks.
Yeah, I think I have a team. I think I have the West just because I think we're hyping up the Knicks because of how they've been running through the semis and the Eastern Conference Finals. But the West is the West. Like, for years now, the West has been a gauntlet to go through. And so whoever comes out of that series is, on paper, the best team in the NBA. They just have to show it when they play the Knicks.
LeBron, come back to the East. The East sucks. That's all I got.
All right.
I'm over basketball. Oh, real quick, hockey update. Haha, Oos, your Avalanche lost. I'm just going to tell you now. Here's my pick, and I'm going to let you know. This is why. Sports is a story, okay? The story in hockey writes itself. America has come over. We took their men's hockey gold medal. We took their women's gold medal. We took their Paralympics gold medal. Canada is going to take home the Stanley Cup. Montreal is going to come back against Carolina. Montreal is going to beat Vegas. Canada reclaims the cup. However, the storyline here, because Montreal is down to Carolina. If Montreal was to come back and Canada, the country that loves hockey more than anyone, has to play our Vegas only a couple of years ago expansion franchise that we were just so America. Hey, here Vegas, you're shiny. Here's a bunch of money. build a dome. Here's a hockey team, and now you're good. That would also be kind of funny if they were to beat the Canadians too, but the Canadians still have to get through the conference finals there.
Yeah. It's like
Vegas
it's one of
is the storybook villain, period.
It is kind of annoying because like when you look at kind of like the sports landscape, it's been very much like, oh, well, at least in hockey recently, it's been all the Florida teams or like the Southern teams. LA has been winning everything in baseball. The SEC is pretty, dominant. Give me some like northern win. Like I want Montreal just to like I want to break that up. So I'm rooting for Montreal. Unfortunately, I do think it's going to be Vegas versus Carolina, and we're all going to be disappointed.
Right. That just sucks. Sorry to both of those fan bases. Carolina got a good fan base. Vegas, I ain't even doing that with you. All right. Let's talk. We want to talk some baseball. Let's talk some baseball.
Yes. So since we last talked, Garden's been kind of on a roll. I'm going to throw up the graphic here. We did add a win today, so we are 33-25. I don't know what that puts us, but we are at least 3 games up in the AL Central. As you can see, a lot of guys playing well lately. Since we last spoke, Mr. Travis Bazzana has broken out of his slump and has a very, very good OPS and has claimed the leadoff spot. I think that's an amazing decision. Even when he first came up and was struggling to get hits, his ability to work counts was abundantly clear. And so to put him in the leadoff spot makes a lot of sense because before he started struggling, that was Kwan's biggest thing, was able to work counts. Even if he got out, he was able to do 5, 6, 7 pitch at bats. And to have a guy like Bazzana be able to just come in right away and do that is very, very good. I'll move on. Some other guys. Chase DeLauder, while he's kind of cooled off, leads the team in RBIs and has a great OPS. Brian Rocchio has him along with Angel Martinez breakout seasons. I think our new hitting coach is doing wonders for these guys. The power is abundant, as you can see by Angel leading our team in home runs. 27 RBIs apiece is amazing. And then on the pitching side, Parker Messick continues to be amazing. A 2.5 WAR this early in the season is incredible. And after a slow start, Cade Smith riding the ship, lead league, now 19 saves after today. Leads the league.
Today. So, a little shaky today.
I still won it. And so a lot of stuff doing great. And exactly right. Optimus looking good right now.
Let's stay on the top side for a second. First of all, Bazzana, I mean, we're done here. He stays, right? Like we're this, yes. Like, there's, yeah, okay.
No, that's the mainstay. We're good.
The kids are just the kids are playing amazing. I'm not gonna lie. Now it's baseball, so I know all you optimists are looking good right now. I know I was a bit more on the pessimistic side just because it's baseball. So I can't believe that a bunch of kids are gonna play like this together, or this team is gonna all of a sudden turn into the early 2000 or whatever, late 2000s Houston Astros or the Padres. Like it's possible, but there's also very likely that we're going to hit a nice slump here at some point because these are kids. Big shout out to Angel Martinez because a lot of people wanted him gone and just did not want him on the team coming into spring training or coming into opening day. Some shaky defense on the first couple weeks, but was hitting the ball even then. So this doesn't surprise me. I want to touch on that, and I have 2 major things I have to talk that I think are concerned for this team. But shout out to the kids, and then Messick and Cade Smith as well. I gave Cade some stick, but closers are going to have some shaky time as long as he's getting the job done. I mean, no offense, we lived through the FanDuel Emmanuel Clase era, so we know what some up and down stuff can be. 162 game season. So on the playing well side, I love it. The kids are carrying this team right now, and I love it. But
well, I will also say that I'm not going to be concerned with Jose until we get to June. Like, other than 1 year, I think Jose has been a mid to late season kind of get right. So, I'm going to wait to put pass judgment on Jose until we get into where the average temp is above 70 degrees.
Hear me out though, okay? And I understand that, but I mean it's May 27th, so at some point it needs to come along. And this is an older superstar who's gotten paid. He's on the other side of 30. At some point, the Jose will get it together. Won't get together. It's Albert Pujols like. I know they're not the same player, but it was always, well, yeah, Albert's going to start having the great season. And then he just didn't have the great season.
Yeah.
I'm going to be early on it. I'm not saying that Jose's not going to get it together, but it is something that I have to not just be like, oh, okay, it'll happen. No, I'm watching. I'm kind of like, hey, it's going to happen, right?
No, absolutely. And I think, again, pessimist, optimist, I'm not going to say it will. The weather is also March 4th. I'm not going to believe it until I see it, because he has proven it wrong multiple times. But there are also other players not playing so well, and unfortunately, they are similar ones we talked about 3 weeks ago.
And do me a favor, save the last one for a larger conversation.
Absolutely. Slade Ciccone, still very much struggling. We really don't have a lot of great starting pitching coming up, and so we kind of have to roll with him. However, yeah, 5.18 ERA and him getting shelled again against Washington was not good. Another pitching, which unfortunately, again, it's very similar. Tanner Bybee. While the joke is that Tanner Bybee is 0-7 because for some reason we can't hit when he pitches, even if he has a good game. The 0-7 is still very, very big, because there's been times we have scored runs for him and he's given up 6. And so he is very, very hot and cold right now. And unfortunately for him, he's gotten unlucky on some of his starts, but some of it has been him as well. So
you set up this one for the last one, in my opinion, on what I'm going to talk about. So go ahead.
And finally, someone who has been slumping the whole year has gotten a little better since getting moved down in the lineup, but still not kind of giving us the quality that we're expecting. And also hasn't, looking at previous stats, hasn't played well since the All-Star break of last year. Steven Kwan, 585 OPS, 1 home run, I think maybe a dozen RBIs, 14. There is a big conversation, obviously. This was a guy that we talked about extending, and now we are even questioning if he has any trade value right now. And so, do I think he has value and can turn this around? And I would want to let him continue to try to work through this. Absolutely. But with all of these kids coming up and performing and playing well, it's becoming harder to justify that when he still hasn't done it, and it's been almost a year.
So there's multiple things now working against Steven Kwan. When Steven Kwan burst on the scene, the Guardians' outfield was atrocious.
Yeah.
And he was a godsend. Now, he also played and hit amazingly. So he was a gold star in a pile of shit out in the outfield. Okay. Yep. Straub, what is the deepest position that the Guardians have besides second base?
Outfield.
Yeah. So you have all these kids playing well. You need room for the kids. And now you have your superstar, well, your second superstar on your team, because Jose's your superstar. Your other star not hitting well, playing okay in the field, but not hitting well at all. And not only not hitting well, the one thing, even when he wasn't hitting well, that he could still do, which was lead off and make it tough, he's now been replaced by one of the kids who can now do that.
Yeah.
When you pair that with the fact that Cerrone's out here with a 5 ERA, Tanner Bybee's 0-7 with an almost 5 ERA, is it time to cut bait, Find the team that needs an outfielder desperately. Believe that they'll believe Quan will get back to it in a new setting. You cut bait and you trade him and maybe whatever else, not whatever else, but you trade him for some pitching. This team needs pitching. This team doesn't need outfielders.
Yeah. And last year, if you told me that, I would say this team isn't ready yet. This team is still young, doesn't have the pieces. We got the pieces now, right? DeLauder, Bazzana, Rocchio, Martinez, the guys that we need to step up have stepped up.
You got a guy in the back end with Cade Smith.
And so now when you look, there's two big areas of need that everyone is very aware of. It's starting pitching and it's a power bat. You have three very big trade baits that are going to probably be available at the deadline. You have Mike Trout, you have Yordan Alvarez, and you have Tarek Skubal. You get one of those for Stephen Kwan and a high prospect, I'm calling that trade a win every day of the week because you are filling a massive need, whether it's a power bat or starting pitching, and you're giving up. I wouldn't say you're giving up on someone, but you're moving a player that will not take a pay cut in an extension and has basically fallen off a cliff since last year. And I think it makes sense for me. And Nate, listen, I understand it's only for 1 year. You only got 1 year of Quan left. So what would you know what I mean? Are you trying to bank that Quan's going to turn around and not fill a need? Or would you rather have another player in the same time frame fill a need and it's also playing well for a prospect?
So here's the problem. I'm going to get excited. Number one, Detroit's not trading with us. So I don't think Skubal's on the table. I don't think he'd come here. I think if he's finally going to get out of Detroit, he's going to wind up somewhere in a big market. He's going to go to LA. Or New York. Come on, man. Give me Mike Trout. Let's just do it. The resurgence of Mike Trout. He can DH. They can have Quan and whatever prospect they want, and let's go. I'm here for it. I'm down. That sounds amazing.
And okay, well, yeah, and Mike Trout, but look, listen, there's concerns. He's old. He's and you give me Yordan Alvarez.
That too.
I'm saying we're going to the World Series. I'm done. We're going to the World Series.
That's a hard one for me because he's a Texan, or he's a
But he was not okay. Hold on, he was not on the team that cheated. Right. He was. It's okay. It's past.
All right, fine. But I'm a name guy. Give me Mike Trout, man. Come on, give me. But either one, we're not getting Skubal, so give me either of the bats, and I'm here for it. Sorry.
I'd also
give me the 1 year rental. Quan's a 1 year rental is this place, and here's what I've seen so far that playing for the contract is detrimental to Quan. Give me a big hitter trying to play for the contract. I'm here for
it. That's what I'm saying.
I love it. Love it. And yes, yeah, he is a beast. And he could be yeah, I get it. Alvarez, a better option now. But come on, man. Give me Mike Trout. All right. Do you have anything else on the baseball end?
I have nothing on the Cleveland sports end other than I'm going to put our vote in for both on the West teams winning. I'm going to close that poll out. Thunder, Spurs, we all have taken the finals. Obviously,
listen, this is a Cleveland-based show. We're not rooting for New York.
No, but if it is Knicks Thunder, like I think it is, I don't want to watch.
No, I won't.
I don't want any team to win.
I was going to watch the Stanley Cup Finals mixed in no matter what, but I will just be watching the Stanley Cup Finals. Do you have overall baseball?
I don't know if you guys saw, there was a graphic a couple days ago that if the playoffs ended, it would be Tampa Bay, Cleveland, the Athletics, whatever they go by now, the Yankees, the Twins, and the White Sox in the playoffs. which would be the most like disgusting playoffs of all time. But I love that, and so I would watch every single game. It would be 5 teams of powered by friendship and rainbows, and then you have the Yankees that everyone would be rooting against, and it would be just fantastic.
I don't disagree with you there. I'm gonna be honest. If it's not the Guardians, I ain't been watching. So I got nothing to do.
And the Cubs are the 3rd team in history to have 2 10 game winning streaks and a 10-game losing streak. So they're the NL Central is all over the place.
I need them to have more losing streaks. Yeah, we're not rooting for the Cubs either. I was waiting for this part. I was dreading this part only because I have to try to make sure when I'm done with this part, I can get through the rest of the show. Normally, this is where we take our break in between the rest of our segments before we dive into the footy segment. So normally, this is where I tap in and I play our commercial for Ani's Army. You see me in my Ani's Army t-shirt. If you follow us on Facebook, you have seen my posts by now. And big love to my Rapids players who participated in it as well. 2 weeks ago, Ani passed away after her long battle, extensive battle with everything that came with the complications of her having her brain tumor. A tough one for the show. I've told the story many times. I found Ani's father, Mark, through an Instagram reel of Rutgers drones doing the Iowa wave, and he told his story about Annika, and I was touched, and I told him that we would do everything we could do with this little platform that we got to get Ani's Army, the foundation, the name out there, and to shed light on this. The foundation has helped many families, with the struggles, the financial struggles that come with having a child that is sick. I give nothing but love and prayers to Mark and Lynn and their other children as well. Ani passed away 2 days after her 17th birthday. That she shares with her brother. So much love to them. We did you may have seen it in the Rapids commercial that I ran. Our third game against a team from Michigan, where they are from. The world works in mysterious ways, but the guys wore pink for me. Our team photo has the hoodie and the shirt in it. So much love to my guys who rallied together. I want to give props to my captain, one of my captains, Dustin. I asked the guys in the group chat to do it for me, and Dustin just set it in and let it be known that we were wearing all white and we were wearing pink for Ani. So yeah, keep that family in your thoughts and your prayers. And I'll be revamping the commercial a little bit, but the commercial stays. This doesn't stop. We are going to continue Ani's legacy through this foundation, and we're going to continue to help others, and we're going to continue to support, and we're going to continue to honor her legacy in that way possible. So rest easy now, Annika. Your battle is over, and I'm going to use her father's own words. Who, I mean, the strength that family has shown has been just inspiring and remarkable. But Mark said, he goes, that this wasn't as hard as he thought, only because now there is no suffering anymore. So if they're moving in that direction and want to use the foundation as that tool, then we rally behind them in the best way possible. So still going to run our commercial, but I wanted to update our show and give some love. I appreciate your love and your hearts in the comments too. But yeah, thank you.
Whew.
Today I want to talk to you about Ani's Army Foundation. Started by Mark and Lynn Meyer to honor their daughter Annika, Ani's Army Foundation was formed to raise money for the research of medulloblastoma tumors and other pediatric cancers, while making a positive impact on the community and helping those families in need. Here on the website, anisarmy.org, you can follow Ani's story, a story of strength and the love that her family has with her and she has with them as she fights this battle. Here on the website, if you can, please donate via Venmo, credit card, PayPal, cash, or check. Any donation is loved and any donation is appreciated. Thank you.
And you know what? I'm not changing the commercial. The commercial will stand as is. Thank you, Pops. So yeah, that was a tough one to try to transition from. But we will continue to do that, and we will continue to roll into our footy as we do after every time. Straub, the Premier League season is over. We missed the end of it. You were in Europe gallivanting around being a hooligan. I was somewhere doing a Rapids game or coaching soccer because it was Sunday. Unfortunately, we're not happy about a lot of this. You're unhappy about way more than me. Let's start at the top.
Yes,
Premier League champions.
And I will put the table up, because the last game didn't matter. For the top, Arsenal, your Premier League champions. God, that is like poison coming out of my mouth. This was decided the week before as Manchester City drew to Bournemouth 1-1 and gave Arsenal the title. So kind of the last week was a little meaningless, but there was obviously Europe to play for. Great season by Arsenal. Was able to hang on. Manchester City, I don't know if that was if they just kind of fell off when they knew Pep was leaving, because they drew literally the day after Pep announced that he was leaving, or if this was just a random season. Props to them. They played a brand of football that maybe many didn't like, but you can't say that, but not also say, but it worked, and they won, and they deserve it. I will say,
go ahead.
There are at least 3 teams that I'm staring at right now that should give them a better run for their money, because again, it does seem like this Arsenal team, especially at the end of the season, was starting to get figured out with how they would do it. And so if Arsenal's going to just kind of implement that system the same way, they're going to be in trouble next year. Mm-hmm. Manchester City, obviously, depending on the manager, as I said, Pep Guardiola announced he is stepping away from the club after an amazing career. Ken, you've got to be happy about that, but I'm sure they'll bring somebody in that's going to be not maybe as good, but should be good with the talent that they have to compete.
Don't care.
Ken, it has been announced in between our break that Manchester United will retain manager Michael Carrick for next year. So I think it's the right move. I think you got to give them. Something. I don't like, with your track record of hiring managers and them not really working out. I think sticking with a guy who at least has been somewhat successful in the time that he's been here is the right move, especially since there isn't a massive candidate that you can go for. Aston Villa, I think, still deserves a shout, and I think Liverpool had a down year. I think next year they are going to be back up and running. And
if not, Arne Slot won't have a job.
Exactly. And so I think plenty of competition next year, but for now, to my chagrin, congrats, Arsenal.
No one who doesn't support the Gunners liked the brand of football that they played. So we'll put that right out there. Number one. Number two, I do agree with you. It was starting to be figured out.
Yeah.
And yeah, you could argue, oh, now that Arteta won and Pep is leaving, Arsenal are now in charge of the Premier League. No, this thing will be wide open next year. I 100% believe that. And I also 100% agree with you. I think regardless of the manager, Manchester City and their checkbook will make sure that that team and that managerial role are stocked to the T, and they will be ready to go. I will touch on my own team because I was going to no matter what. Manchester United locked in there at third place, locked into the Champions League. I 100% call that a successful season. And if you would have started the year and said, hey, Ken, you're going to fire Ruben Amorim and you're going to finish third in the Champions League, will you got it? You want that? Yes, I'll take it. Yes, 100%. So a successful season because of what has been the past couple of seasons. Yes, Michael Carrick signed by Manchester United to remain. Shout out to Mom in the building. To remain manager at Manchester United. Things to figure out, however, this is Manchester United and Manchester City both can compete for the Premier League title next year. One needs tinkered with, one still needs help. Manchester United has plenty of roles still to fill. Dallo took a step back this year. Casemiro is not coming back. It's already been reported Emmanuel Ugarte will be sold at a loss because he will not come back or won't be back. Luke Shaw, not in the prime of his career anymore. Mateus de Ligt coming off of back surgery. Lisandro Martinez constantly hurt. Harry Maguire, big blockhead, is who he is. He's an older player now. So there needs to be some retooling at the back. There are some positives with Lenny Euro and Aiden Heaven. So some things to build on. Patrick Diogo coming back, a big step there. And Buemo and Cunha had some ups and downs, but overall great. Bruno Fernandes, your all-time Premier League leader in assist in a season. Shout out to him, and your PFA Player of the Year, well deserved. Even your boy Cole Palmer, without a second hesitation, when asked who was the Player of the Year, named him as well. So things to build on. What it's going to come down to for me, I believe that I like what Michael Carrick wants to build. I know he needs to shore up that midfield, maybe add a winger in. I know we're going in for Morgan Rogers, maybe Christian Pulisic. Who knows? Got to shore up the back line as well. Maybe another striker. There's a lot of work to do for this team. I like what he wants to do with this team. Can he get the players to sign? And can Manchester United stop not wanting to pay the price tag on top players like Balibo, or Caicedo when he went to you, or Declan Rice before he went to Arsenal, and overpay later on for guys like Anthony, guys like Jordan Sancho, things like that. If he can get the guys to sign, this team can compete. If he can't, this team will be in this struggle zone, especially if a team like Liverpool start to get it together, Aston Villa secure up some forces if they don't lose too much, things like that. Go ahead.
I would say I agree with what you said. It seems like you're already on a good start. It's reported you are signing interim midfielder Ederson. I think that's a very good signing for you. I keep going, though.
Yes, it cannot be done. People must be sold. People must be bought.
Yes. So Arsenal and then the rest in the blue qualified for the Champions League. Bournemouth and Sunderland in the orange qualified for Europa.
We have to talk about that.
We will get there. And Brighton qualifying for Conference League with Brentford, Chelsea, and Fulham, who were in the mix on the final day, failing to qualify for Europe. Ken, you want to start with those that did or those that didn't?
Oh, I want happy you still. So we're going to start with the ones who did, and then we're going to save the conversation for you, because I think of those three teams, the only one I care about talking about is you. So we're going to save that. Bournemouth. This has been coming.
Yes.
This is a team that has been flirting on the precipice of getting here. They've lost a lot, but they constantly reinvest. You see it. A great job by Bournemouth. And I would say an up and down season for Brighton, because you were talking about a team that was playing Europa League football, was just there on the cusp of Champions League football. So to drop down to the Conference League is tough. However, yes, it's going to put a stretch on that squad, but now they are used to it, and now they can pump a little bit more money in to help an aging squad.
No, I think you're absolutely right. Bournemouth is going to be interesting. Obviously, Iraola leaving. So whoever they bring in is now going to have to, again, squad shuffling, making sure that everyone is, getting good minutes and, they're not getting too worn, especially with Europe, and also adjusting to a new play style. Playing twice a week now is going to be very difficult.
But the last one. In modern day football, and I mean, you're however you want to, and I'm talking recent day football, okay? When money has become what it has become. This, for me, is probably second to Leicester City winning the Premier League title. I do not think people understand the gravity of this situation. When you take a team that was last year playing in the championship, they were playing in a league below, and they are going to Europe. No, it's not Champions League football. It's Europa League. That doesn't matter. That is an accomplishment that should be absolutely celebrated. I know Sunderland did celebrate. This does not happen anymore. It can happen in years. Look at Bournemouth. Look at Brighton. It can happen. Crystal Palace. It doesn't happen this quickly. This is crazy.
No, you're absolutely right. All credit to Reggie Labrie and that Sunderland team. They came out firing from week one, and then were able to kind of ride that mid-season slump that all of those recently promoted teams go through because of the slog of the season, weathered it, and came on strong at the end to grab it. So while we credit Bournemouth, the fact that Sunderland is in the exact same position with the quickest of turnarounds, absolutely incredible to them. Absolutely. I am going to be rooting for them and Bournemouth in the Europa League because I think they deserve it. And it wasn't they fell from the Champions League. They earned Europa League. And I think that's the big difference there.
Now, they have almost a bigger struggle than Bournemouth and Brighton do, because when you talk about, okay, now I'm playing twice a week, the squad gets stretched. This team needed, even if they finished 9th through 17th, they were going to need to take that Premier League television money and heavily invest in the squad to then replace some of the guys that you realize don't make the jump from the championship up, and to just help out the squad to stay up. Now that squad needs to be revamped to a point where it can play in Europa League. Now that is attractive. You're going to be able to get guys from other teams now that are on the lower end of the Premier League, because guys will want to play in Europe. But that is an absolute task for Sunderland to ask for. However, I will say this. If I was a young team or a team like this that is now going into Europe, having Granit Xhaka as my captain and my guy to lead my team, that's not a bad way to go.
You're absolutely right. It just, Granit Xhaka being 33, how much does he have left in the tank to be that engine, to continue to do that, and again, play now more games? Also, obviously, Robin Refs, their goalkeeper, 23, an outstanding season from him. Can we replicate it? You know what I mean? The Nottingham Forest, their goalkeeper last year, had an amazing season. Come out this year, not as great. Matt Sells. Yes. So that's the key there. You need consistency, and because if you can get that consistency and then add the talent and the depth, you're going to be fine. But that's not always the case. A la Nottingham Forest.
Absolutely, I will say, and I know there's 100 teams doing it, but if I am Sunderland, I'm pulling a playbook out of my FIFA and a basic playbook. I am on the phone with West Ham, I'm on the phone with Burnley, and I'm on the phone with Wolves, and I'm trying to come after the best guys that you got because you're going down and they're going to want to leave, and maybe I can just convince them. They're not just being convinced to just jump to a team that's staying in the Premier League. Hey, we're playing in Europa, and if we win the Europa League, we're guaranteed a Champions League spot no matter where we finish in the league. Intriguing. Deals to be made.
And finally, Brighton, I will say they haven't actually qualified for Europe since 2022, 2023. And the fact that we just see them as perennial Europe contenders is, I think, a testament to how stable they've made that program. So for them to, again, qualify for Europe, again, is an achievement. So shout out to Brighton.
That was a misspeak by me to say that they had already, but that's where they've been.
Yeah, no, they've been right on that precipice or gotten it for the past 6-7 years, which is absolutely incredible for them.
All right, it's time to put a damper on the mood.
It's honestly, I've been checked out for long enough that I think I'm gonna be okay, but we'll see where this goes.
Chelsea finish in 10th. Preseason predictions, I do believe I had you finishing second.
I might have been third.
Or no, I think I had you in the top 4.
Qualified, Champions League qualification, absolutely.
And you were still in the running for Champions League qualification. Mm-hmm. A month left in the season, and you took a mighty, mighty fall the last couple weeks. Drew, I know what you're gonna say because I agreed with this when it happened to me because I told you it was good when it happened to you. And that is when you are flailing and you are trying to figure it out as a top club, maybe taking a year off if you're not at the Champions League level yet is better than playing in Europa League and playing in the Conference League. And me and you argued for months about it. Because you disagreed because Chelsea had made the Europa League and you were like, no, I would rather be in this than not. And then you got rolled out. You had a terrible season and you were like, you know what? No, I'm going to enjoy my season with no Europe. Do you think, though, with as good as they did play at the height of their up and down season, do you think Champions League football could have saved this season going into next year and made it a less of a rebuild?
I mean, I think there was multiple things that could have saved the season, right? Getting into Europe, winning the FA Cup over Manchester City.
Ownership selling your club.
Yeah, right. The issue is here just how big of a fall it was, because when you look at our results, since the second week of March, in the league, we gained 4 points. And as you can see, we needed 2 to at least make 2 more points to get any more Europe. A win, 1 more win, 2 more draws gets us into Europe. And the fact we couldn't get that, and unlike the previous years, we are again enrolling a new coach, not having the distraction of trying to rush this team next year to understand Xabi Alonso's season, which I'll talk about his system, seeing who needs to leave and who needs to come in and getting guys acclimated. 1 game a week with some, FA Cup, Carabao Cup games in between. That's fine with me right now. There's going to be a lot of turnover this offseason. I'm glad that this management, I think I talked about this last time. We really are, we've only done 2 things in terms of managers the past 4 or 5 years. It's hire the guy that is really, really talented, but is going to leave in a year because he's too frustrated, or hire the guy that is way out of his depth and leaves in 6 months because he cannot get the results and the players don't respect him. We were going the first route here. I hope we can potentially change, our ways, and he can stay for multiple years and be okay with the management. That remains to be seen. However, this is a guy He took Xabi Alonso. He took Leverkusen to the Bundesliga title in a league that's dominated by Bayern Munich. And obviously a short stint in Madrid didn't end up well, but not a lot of.
You can't blame him for that. All the reports out of Madrid are guys are literally punching each other at practice, have to be pulled off of each other. They hate each other. No one was saving that Madrid season.
No, and a lot of egos there. So not his fault. You give a guy who, again, it's still a young team. We talk about it all the time. Still a young team. And I'm more begging this upper management and our ownership, give him the reins to bring in the guys he wants. Tell the guys, no matter what kind of contract they're on, no matter how important they were to previous managers, to play my system or get the hell out if you don't want to be here. He can turn this team around because he's been proven that he can do it with the type of talent that we have. And so the amount of turnover that we're gonna have, and I'm not even gonna look at the rumors because I really don't care. I'm gonna see who is leaving. I'm gonna see who is, I'll look at Fabrizio Romano, and that's it. He is the Woj of the soccer world, for those that don't know.
But there is only Woj.
Yeah, we will come into preseason with our roster, and we will go from there. But I think not Europe is the best for this team, just because of how poorly they played at the back half of the year. That I don't think they deserved Europe. I don't think that a positive spin on the season would have been worth it for how bad they played.
You're right. I am. I always would like to see you succeed. You could have finished fourth. I was third. You could have finished fourth. I'd have been cool with that. To see you in Champions League football. It doesn't all. It also the thing that benefits you. There's not a lot that benefits when you're not playing Champions League football. But I will say this: the guys who are going to leave were leaving whether you were playing Champions League football or not. Enzo is leaving. He is gone.
Yeah.
Barcelona or Madrid. And Barcelona or Madrid will pay it. Shout out to Real Madrid for re-signing former manager Jose Mourinho back at Real Madrid. That is as good as it gets. And we don't talk a lot of Spanish football on this podcast, not because we don't watch it, but just because it sucks. Spoiler alert. It's just Barcelona and Madrid, and Real Madrid. So there's not been a lot. What?
Atletico every once in a while.
Always in third or second. But that's going to be fun to see. That's going to be fun to watch.
If there is a manager to squash those egos, it's him.
And that's because the only thing that can squash player egos that big is a manager with a bigger one. And Jose, I love it. I love that so much. Back to this. I really, really love the Marcos Alonso signing for you. I also think it's great that you're giving him a year to just build this thing up and then get it rolling, like you said. I think that's the chef's kiss. Let him get acclimated to the Premier League because it ain't Germany and it ain't La Liga. It's can you do it on a rainy night in Sunderland? But I know it's Stoke. But it was better to say Sunderland.
Stoke's like 2 divisions down. It's fine.
I know. So I love that for you. I will say, real quickly to just touch on the bottom end of the table. Wolves were relegated long ago. So was Burnley. We lost West Ham. It's sad. My man Colin, when I seen him at work, I said, "Are you okay, man? Like, are you for real?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I'm trying to figure out where I'm watching the championship." I think
ESPN Plus, baby.
Yeah, ESPN Plus, baby. Yeah, I would have liked to see Spurs go down, but yeah, Everton didn't do us no favors there. Yeah,
I will say, one, Tottenham staying up. Listen, I always say it. I don't want my rivals to be relegated. I want them to be 17th, and that's exactly what Tottenham did. So honestly, that's happier for me. Also, De Zerbi staying in the Premier League, and I think going to do really well with this Tottenham team. I think because you saw the flip as soon as he got there. that team played so much better. So I think they'll be higher up next year, especially if they get guys in. Also with West Ham, it's reported their manager Nuno will stay. And so he came in, tried to pull them out, just wasn't successful enough. In my opinion, I think they bounce right back. I think they're right back up.
For pause, Sterling in the building. Shout out to my guy Sterling. I'm worried about that because what I've read has not been good. The way he alienated coaches, the way he alienated players. I didn't like a lot of the things that I heard. So
when you're in a relegation battle,
I know
you gotta have those kind of conversations sometimes.
Yeah, we'll see. The problem for West Ham is who they lose. More than anything.
We'll see.
It's been reported that it's been reported that 5 of the starting 11 could be sold they've got to save $150 million because you're not getting that Premier League money. So
well, they got the stadium for the ticket sales because they'll sell out. Even if the championship, they'll sell out. I think the coach, like I said, Nuno is a good enough coach to get them back into the Premier League next year. As long as you, like I said, you don't lose so much that you just lose all your talent. But I think they'll be okay. And that
real quick, because we didn't give an update on. We talked about their
Everton
teams all year.
You're tied on points.
Newcastle 12th, Everton 13th. You both on 49 points. You both belong there. You both are mid as hell, and that's exactly where you belong, in the middle of the table.
Also, how long until Newcastle fires God, what am I talking about? Eddie Howe.
Eddie Howe.
It's been multiple years. They haven't made the Champions League in 2-3 years, and even then they got grouped. And
if Elliot Anderson has a good World Cup, he will not be a Newcastle player next year.
My thought is, listen, Eddie Howe. He was an amazing manager. That was an upstart. He's kind of hit his ceiling here. I think Newcastle, you gotta just ask questions. Why are we still keeping this guy when we're not seeing the results and we're not in Europe?
I'm up here on the Champions League level. I can't hear y'all.
You want me to bring the last year's results back up? I can bring them back into the...
Nope, but guess what? I got this year's. All right, I love it. All right, let's get angry.
All right, so we finished with the Premier League, but there are bigger events still to unfold. I will say, Champions League final on Saturday, Arsenal versus PSG. I will be hate watching Arsenal with all of my being because, 1, I don't want Arsenal to win anything, but 2, I am still the only London team to win a Champions League, and I want it to stay that way. So I am the biggest PSG fan this weekend.
Arsenal versus PSG is like watching the Steelers versus. I mean, it's Steelers versus Eagles. Like, can this end in a tie? And I know it can't, and which very, very, very much so pains me. So I'm going to root for exactly what I rooted for last year when the Eagles. I don't remember who the Eagles played, and Patriots. The Patriots. Bane. If you would like to just come up through the middle of the stadium, as long as nobody gets hurt and you just take the field away and they can't finish the game, that would be amazing. Thank you.
So that will obviously that's going to happen, but a much bigger event is happening this summer. We've talked about it probably since the start of our show ever.
Yes.
The World Cup is finally here. It is hosted by the United States, Mexico, and Canada, with most games being in the U.S. Ken and I will be attending in 3 weeks to watch Ecuador, Curacao, and Kansas City. Watch out for potentially some content there. A little bit live for the World Cup. Well, we haven't figured it out yet. We're figuring it out, but we will obviously talk about it. We'll talk about the World Cup specifically more later. Now, we are going to talk about the news that dropped. The United States has released their roster for the World Cup. Ken, a lot of mainstays, a lot of guys that we knew were going to make it, obviously, but some surprises, and I'm going to bring it up here. 26 guys are going to make it. We're going to start with our goalkeepers and defenders. Goalkeepers, Matt Freese from New York City, Matt Turner from New England, and Chris Brady from Chicago. Honestly, that's exactly what we thought was going to happen. Matt Freese is your starter. Matt Turner is your quote-unquote veteran, and Chris Brady is a upstart rookie that's played very well this season.
But in terms of your World Cup play, Matt Freese, Matt Turner vying for the job. Chris Brady's hanging out. Brad Guzan ain't walking through that door. Brad Friel ain't walking through that door. Timmy Howard ain't walking through that door. This is what we got. I don't really want to dwell on this very much, only because it's not fair at this point to hang up or to lay into these guys. I've laid into them enough when they've played for the national team. This is who we have. This is what we got.
Exactly. And you're exactly right. We've known for a while this was going to be it. We just got to go out and hope whoever the best keeper is, like whoever the hottest goalkeeper is, gets the start, and they stand on their head for a game or two when we need them to. So moving on from there, defenders, you're pretty much starting for Chris Richards from Crystal Palace, Serginho Dest from PSV, Anthony Robinson from Fulham, and Tim Ream from Charlotte will make up your back line. Some backups, Mark McKenzie from Toulouse in France, Miles Robinson from Cincinnati, Alex Freeman from Villarreal, Austin Trusty from Celtic, Joe Scally from Mönchengladbach, and Max Arfson from Columbus. Ken, I also kind of predicted this would be it. Miles Robinson, I think I don't deserve to be on, but he is another mainstay, and it seems like we might shift maybe towards a back five when needed to allow Destin Robinson to move up the field, so I'm not mad at it.
This is the defensive. I know Cameron Carter-Vickers had just come back and was training.
Yeah.
This is the group this is probably the group that I am most secure in saying we brought everyone that I think we should have brought. The problem I have with that group is this team isn't making it out of the group stage with those goalkeepers and Tim Ream trying to run guys down in the back. Okay. 3 of those guys are locked in. Chris Richards, Serginho Dest, and Anthony Robinson. This team has got to figure out the 4th guy. I don't think it can be Tim Ream. I think it has to be Mark McKenzie or Miles Robinson. Shout out to Miles Robinson. This guy was supposed to be our next center back, our next captain. He was in line to be that guy. The knee injuries destroyed that. He's worked his way back. Props to him. We've got something. I can't have it. I love Tim Ream. I love his mind. I have a great soccer mind. I can't chase down a kid right now. Tim Ream cannot be trying to chase down world-class talent for us to go far. If they do change to that back 5, though, and you have Chris Richards and you have Mark McKenzie next to him, and you allow Robinson and Dest to go up and down the field, now we're in a different ballgame. But then that you're going to restrict what goes on the other end. But we'll talk about that.
No, I agree. And for those that also keep up with the Premier League and the U.S., Chris Richards did suffer a small injury on the last game, but in their Conference League final win today, Chris Richards was on the bench. So healthy enough to be on the bench, will be healthy for the World Cup, so no problems there for game 1. No, I agree. This is a back line that has some issues, but I think those issues can be masked a little bit with how we play. So we'll see what happens there.
And on this page, who else would you have taken?
Right. Like maybe you bring in, it's been reported that Noah Kai Banks again declined a World Cup invite. So no one you could really say earned that role. So you gotta be able to hide weaknesses. And listen, I know we've kind of been skeptical. Mauricio Pochettino knows how to hide some weaknesses. He's a world-class coach. I have faith that we'll be able to do that. Moving on to our midfielders, your mainstays, Tyler Adams from Bournemouth and Weston McKennie from Juventus. Then we have a slew of attacking midfielders, Brendan Aronson from Leeds, Gio Reyna from Mönchengladbach, and Malik Tillman from Leverkusen. 1 or 2 of those are going to play basically every game. Then to round out, Sebastian Berhalter, who is having a fantastic year for Vancouver, and the one we're going to be angriest about, Christian Roldan from Seattle. He was included, and some notable snubs that could have replaced him. Tanner Tessman, who is slightly injured but is coming back from injury from Lyon, and Aiden Morris from Middlesbrough. Both of those I think could have been better. Obviously, Roldan, you want to hope is your 26th man. However, he has played in those big friendlies against Belgium and Portugal. So it is very possible he does get some playing time, which does scare me.
Am I allowed to bring the other guy in, or is he technically classified as a forward? Because I consider him an attacking midfielder too. Tyler Adams, Weston McKennie, and I would say Malik Tillman. I set off to the side. For me, they were mainstays. I know Malik Tillman for some people was maybe on the fringe. I never thought he was on the fringe.
He had a bad back half of his club season.
But I still believe with the way that he played with the national team, I believe he deserved it. Sebastian Berhalter. I not only have liked what he's done at Vancouver, I have screamed about him in our group chat anytime he plays for the national team. I love the fire. I love the grit. I love the anger sometimes even that he plays with. And that boy can whip in a damn cross like no other. I love this kid on the team. Gio Reyna has played as much first-team football as basically I have this year. And Christian Roldan is... I mean, I know I just gave Berhalter credit, but he's on fire in the Farmers League. Roldan is just there. I don't understand how Diego Luna isn't on this fucking team. Okay, I'm not waiting for the forwards. I'm going to put it in here. I know
he's a camp.
Exactly. Gio Reyna hasn't played. They just love his talent and his depth. Yeah. Brendan Aronson has played for Leeds and has played well, but go watch Brendan Aronson's goal tape. Man, it is a lot of running wide open and going one-on-one with a keeper. And he ain't going to get a lot of that in the World Cup. Yeah. I don't understand. Number one, you put the kid all over the promotional shit.
Yeah.
Which was just awful by you guys to then not bring him. He featured, I think, top 5. He's in the top 10 of minutes played of guys that were called up. Yeah. I just don't get it. When the guy was on the field, he produced. When the guy was on the field, he brought a different level of flair, a different level of football that not a lot of these guys play, even though they play in Europe. I don't understand. Now, we had a last World Cup run when we were there. We had a lot of guys that we screamed about on the forwards, and there's one glaring omission for me on this roster. I'm sorry. Love Tanner Tessman. I love Aiden Morris. It's Diego Luna. Period. This team is missing Diego Luna, and you're trying to substitute it with Gio Reyna, who's made of Gio Reyna, who's made of glass and hasn't played. Brendan Aronson, who's been okay, and an old man from Seattle. I don't understand how Diego Luna doesn't have a role on this team.
No, I completely agree. If we're looking at prototypes or like archetypes, right? I think the Roldan and then Tessman Morris are the like swaps. And then I think if we're looking at it, I think it's Aronson and then Luna. And I think that's who you like kind of look at. And I think when they look at that tape, I think they're just banking on the Premier League quality of Brendan Aronson versus Diego Luna. What?
Did I say he was playing in the championship?
No, you're good. No, but sorry. I think when they look at it, right, Sebastian Berhalter has the fire. That he has the aggressiveness that you're looking for. And so I think they go, we already have that. And we trust Brendan Aronson and his quality because he's in the Premier League to be over Diego Luna. But that's just, looking at it on paper. When you look at the comments that Mauricio Pochettino has made, where he is gushed over Diego Luna.
Right.
He called his performance where Diego Luna got a bloody nose and then scored a goal one of the gutsiest performances he's ever seen before. And then one kind of backhands him by saying, yeah, well, even though he made the commercials doesn't mean he's going to make the team, and then proceeds to not put him on the team after gushing about him so much. It's less that I wanted Luna on the roster because, in my opinion, I think you could have kind of gotten him or like taken him or not taken him. It's just confused, and just in my opinion, just because he hasn't. Well, after that one game, he hasn't produced for club or for country. It's just confusing to me how a coach could go from gushing about a player to then completely kind of dissing him and then not including him in the March window, then leaving him off the roster. It was just a complete 180 of his opinion. And I guess I just don't know where it came from.
And it sounds, and listen, I don't know, but it sounds personal. It sounds like Pochettino got mad that all of a sudden Diego Luna, who, let's be honest, this is not, I'm mad because I want the most complete, in-depth, top guys on this roster. Diego Luna is in the bottom half of that, but I still believe he damn belongs there way more than a couple other guys.
Fair.
So I know I'm arguing on the fringe end of it, but it felt like, it feels like Poch was like, you took him. And now remember, Pochettino isn't just, this is not an American. This is a guy who played at the top level, has coached at the top level, does not see a lot of these Americans at the top level. And you just took that guy from the MLS and made him all the, no, it looks like I need to bring him back down to earth. And this is what I don't like. I do not like when we do all-star games and when we do things like this and World Cup selections and only tell you who should be on the roster. I'll tell you who shouldn't be there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gio Reyna shouldn't be there. Christian Roldan shouldn't be there. Roldan and Reyna shouldn't be there, in my opinion. Roldan, I don't believe in. I know Poch does. He can prove me wrong. Gio Reyna hasn't played fucking soccer or football or footy or any of it. He hasn't played.
Listen, I completely understand.
Sorry.
No, and I completely understand that. This was the one that I was ready for because that's the one we were most going to talk about. Another one that you could throw off for Christian Roldan, Jack McGlynn. He's having an amazing season in MLS so far. He deserves a shout out as someone who I hope was considered for this roster. But we're gonna move on from midfield because I think we've talked it to death. By the way, Morgan, thank you.
I know. I just left his comment up for the whole section. Or
thank you.
That whole part. I'll still yell, so we have to move on.
Yes. Finally, we have our forwards. The face of the national team, Christian Pulisic at AC Milan. Tim Weah from Marseille, by the way, was there. Beautiful city. Fuller and Balogun from Monaco. Ricardo Pepi from PSV. Haji Wright from Coventry. And Alex Zendejas from Club America. Ken, what I want to say is there are, for each of the three other position groups, it is either weak or there was guys that I think we could have brought up that would have been better replacements. Ken, if this group plays to its potential, which obviously is a very big ask because they haven't, but if they play to their potential, at least 3 or 4 of them, I have a lot of faith in this U.S. team because Christian Pulisic, when on fire, is one of the best players in Europe. He led Serie A in goals and assists for half the season. Mm-hmm. Tim Weah is electric when he's on fire. Yep. Fuller and Balogun has had a resurgence at Monaco and is amazing. Ricardo Pepi, while lacks some quality in passing and stuff like that, scores goals.
He's a goal scorer, period.
Scores goals. Haji Wright is big and a presence and can play on the wing or up top. And Alex Zendejas
is technically skilled.
Yes, and Alex Zendejas, while has been kind of under the radar, has had an amazing season for Club America and gives you something that I think is going to be really, really good. One, an effort player that's going to be up and down playing. And I know, effort player. You need a couple of those guys on your back roster, and you know that for 24, 25, 26. He plays a different position than Diego Luna. I don't want to hear it. And two, a left-footed right winger, which is always giving you an added little notch. So if all of those players play to their potential, that is a dangerous final third of your team that could potentially, like we just talked about, cover up some of your deficiencies in the other 2/3.
The third sip of water was to not make this conversation about Diego Luna.
Thank you.
Because you're going to remind me this isn't even his position group. I don't care. It's just when you then describe the type of player you want on the roster, and it is Diego Luna. Like, if the man bleeds for a friendly, what the hell you think he's going to do?
I gotcha.
I'm going to start at that bottom player. You know personally how much I like Alex Zendejas, how much I wanted him to come up. The thing that worries me is we are talking about the complete. I mean, it's a Gio Reyna situation. When Gio Reyna was playing for Borussia and he was playing and he was playing for Dortmund and he was playing great. You come up to the national team and be like, maybe. Alex Zendejas' stints with the national team have been bad.
Yes.
So that worries me. This ain't Club America. This ain't that kind of football. If maybe Poch can get him to just tap into that and say, play with some freedom there on the wing. When I put you in there, I want you cutting in and taking that shot. But maybe that can free him up. The rest is the best crop of any position group that we got. I mean, Chris is Chris. I've talked about him. I've been critical of him on the national team level. However, this is the key for this team. Every time we've gotten to this point, it's been, yeah, but like other than Chris, Weston didn't have a great season. Tyler Adams been kind of hurt. Robinson had a great season. Chris Richards had a great season. Chris has had a great season. Weah's had an up and down season, but has turned it around. Balogun's had a good end of his season. Ricardo Pepi's had a good season. Weston McKennie was player of the year for Juventus. Tyler Adams had a good season with Bournemouth. The way I'm getting back on board with this team is, for the first time, they've all actually had really good club seasons and are all coming in healthy. With the difference maybe being Serginho Dest, who's coming along. But for the most part, there's a main crop of guys that are coming off great individual seasons. Now we've got to put it together as a team, but I think it can be done because of the difference in positions now. Weston McKennie can play in the midfield now and can attack. Tyler Adams can hold it down as your lockdown guy. Chris can play on the wing and centrally. Weah can play centrally and on the wing. Balogun can play on the wing and centrally. Then when we go to Ricardo Pepi or Haji Wright, we've got a dominant center guy, and then you mix in Zende. This is a good crop of forwards. It really, truly is. I don't know who you would swap out, but this is good.
Yeah, no, the only one that I was concerned who was going to be the backup winger, and the fact you're taking a guy who, yes, like we said, kind of not been great for the national team, plays in not as physical of a league, right? Is kind of on the shorter end, but has a fire, has the ability to do something special if called upon. I think it's a perfect 25th, 26th man to fill that position. We need something. We need something. Get out there.
And then you also mix in, remember, Brandon Aronson plays out wide.
Yes.
Sebastian Berhalter plays out wide. Gio Reyna has played out wide. So the backup to that winger is probably lying in the midfield, because then at some point, because if this is a back five, and I know we're not going to go into formations, but if you only have 4 attackers, 2 of them are guaranteed to be what?
5-2-3.
I mean, yeah. So your 2 would then be Tyler Adams and Weston McKennie, and then your 3 would be Christian Pulisic, probably Weah and Balogun. So then, or do you start Pepe? So you have a central striker.
Yeah, it depends on who you're playing with because listen, while Balogun is very good all around and stuff, if you have if you're playing against a team that kind of plays more open, Pepe will eat it. Like, he feasts off of open play. He plays in the Eredivisie in the Dutch league. Watched him play, by the way, when I went to watch a PSV game. He is always just there at the end, waiting for the ball, usually within some space where he can either get a touch with his feet or get a head on a ball. If you have a team that you're playing against that's playing open, and if you're able to move, that is someone where I think Pepe will show his class there. But then Balogun can play in tight spaces. He's played in Monaco. He can play when the game kind of gets dirty and breaks down. And then Hachi's just a physical presence up there. And if you have, someone that you can body on that defensive line, you can put Hachi right to do that.
And we've been critical of this team on not being able to supply the ball into Weah when he was up there, Balogun when he's up there, Ricardo Pepi or Haji Wright. This team, because now it's in its complete form,
yes,
if they play a back 5, you have Serginho Dest and you have Anthony Robinson, 2 of the best crossing defenders that we've ever had, and 2 of the best passing defenders in wing back defenders in their respective leagues.
Yes.
If you play a back 4, you still have them there, but then you have players like, and I will give them some credit, Gio Reyna, especially Sebastian Berhalter, Malik Tillman, and then you add in sometimes Christian Pulisic. I love him, but he's not the best crosser in the world. You have some guys who can step into that role without the defensive thing falling apart when you have Tyler Adams. So
yes.
we've got less than a month. Well, less than a month. Less than a month to the World Cup. We're not going to dive in too far into formations because we're going to get real nerdy when it gets close. But check it out. And as Straub said, we absolutely will have some live content coming. We haven't figured it out. We're going to discuss some ideas. We only have a 16-hour drive from here to Kansas City.
Wow.
Oh, it's only 12? Why I thought you said 16?
Wow.
All right. We have a 12-hour drive to Kansas City to discuss what we're going to do. We're definitely going to go live in some form for sure that Friday before the United States men's national team, possibly after it, depending how many adult consumption of beverages there is during the game. We may not be allowed to go live at that
listen,
point.
if we score a lot, they may just be in the air. So you never know.
I don't like that we do that, and you had me do it, and I did it once, and them damn things are too expensive to be throwing around. Throwing around a $20 beer. Y'all got me. But that's gonna be more than that at the World Cup. But we're gonna figure out something to go with some live content. Maybe we'll just broadcast live from the game, and we'll just do our own commentary in the background of Ecuador and Curacao. We'll see how that goes. FIFA will rip us right off the Facebook and YouTube. But either way, we're gonna come up with something.
Yeah. No, it's gonna be a great time. Tune in with us. Tune into the World Cup when it comes. Listen, I know you may not be the biggest soccer fans in the world. The theatrics and the entertainment that comes with it, especially the first couple games, is unlike anything. Mm-hmm. And to experience that is worth watching. If
you're here in Cleveland, imagine if the Cleveland Browns only got to play in an NFL season once every 4 years, and it was only if they made it, and they weren't guaranteed more than 4 games.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. No press passes, Ray says, FIFA slipping. I'm going to actually put that on myself because my brother knows that I have signed us up for all kinds of the most random events. We usually get turned down because we're too new. But no, I didn't get us any press pass for the game. I apologize for that. Let me see what I can do, though. I'm going to wear my Rapids badge and just see if somebody will let us walk somewhere and just be like, think we're important. But probably not. And then we'll get arrested. Either way, we're fun coming your way. Strabo, Final shout outs.
Final shout outs. Thank you, everyone. Liking, commenting, however you support the show. We really appreciate it. Obviously, this has been, a bigger gap than, our previous ones. We're going to do something first couple weeks of June, obviously, right before the World Cup, and we'll touch on other things as well. So stay tuned for that. But no, thank you guys. We appreciate the good viewership, even though it was such a long break. And I promise it won't be as long. I won't be as busy in June, so we can do more of these. So I appreciate y'all.
Yeah, he just puts the busy schedule on the guy already doing something every weekend, but that's okay. Like, it's all right. I got a clip ready to go out on TikTok. A little rapid highlight. I'm actually going to throw it in at the end of the show because that's just what I do because it's my show. Karma. Boom. Yeah, I will say this. Everyone misses you in the booth. I miss you in the booth. My camera angles miss you in the booth. I didn't do too bad. The connection has taken me down more than anything else. We're on the road in PA to face the Tri-County Rams this week. So let's go Rapids. And as always, I hate to say it like this because we are a kid-friendly show. However, everyone must drown. So spread the wave. Shout out to everybody as he did. Cuzzo, appreciate you. Nate, as always. Ray, as always. Pops, as always. Mom was in. All my people who are watching who don't comment. I get my text from y'all after the show too and during the show. So I appreciate all of you. However, you take down the Straub Bro Sports Show, which is being updated on Spotify by that man sitting over there. I have slowly. I have finally relinquished my duties because I was terrible at it and I'm too busy. Straub, where are you at with the Spotify?
Oh, we got a ways to go. Obviously, I couldn't do it for 2 weeks. But I'm going to make a concerted effort that every week I get at least a half a dozen to a dozen up.
So the Straub Bro Sports Show Spotify page. Search us, Straub Bro Sports Show, right there on Spotify. Our big old logo with our big ugly mugs comes up on right up there. Give us a follow there. As I said, older shows up right now, but we will get to a point where those shows go up every week, just as we do. So you can throw us on your phone, so you don't have to open up YouTube or when they delete on Facebook because Facebook's just a jerk. So.
Yeah. My goal is by the time we go back to weekly, we will be fully updated.
Absolutely. I love it. Appreciate you for taking that over. Appreciate you all for rocking with us. We'll be back next week on the Straub Bro Sports Show. I will also see you Saturday in some capacity for the Cuyahoga Falls Rapid versus Tri-County Rams. Our Rapids trying to go 4-0. I will leave you with a little highlight clip, and then that'll do it for us here on the Straub Bro Sports Show. We'll see you next week, and please remember to always love yours. Second down, he's got Mari Mitchell out there out wide. Mari's going to spin and go and break it up the field, and Mari Mitchell is gone.
Ken's got fire and a wild hot take. Andrew's stats make the whole place shake. Laughing loud when your team goes down. Straub boys run this sports town. S-T-R-A-U-B. Two loud mouths and a love for the league. From Cleveland roots to the world we go. This is the Straub Bro Sports Show. This is the Straub Bro Sports Show.